You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, yes, indeed. What's up, everybody? Yours truly, Ron Kelly Show on a Friday. And I hope, everybody can go out and leave me hanging. I hope that you all are able to participate in the Ron Kelly Show this evening. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for putting up with my nonsense. It's a special Friday edition of the Ron Kelly Show. And it's on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and, of course, blogtalkradio.com, RonKellyShow.com. And this special Friday edition of the Ron Kelly Show is brought to you by American Porterfield Transportation, proud sponsor of the Ron Kelly Show. We'll get to that a little bit later on. So it's Friday, and there's a lot to talk about today. And the right things doing the right things for the right reasons department. The New York man was killed. I mean, it's not funny. He was killed because he got mad at somebody who was he was leaving out of a place or whatever, and he held the door for the person behind him, in front of him, whatever. And so when the person didn't, when the person did not thank him for holding the door, he got mad, and he said something to the person, and the person said, "Well, I didn't tell you to hold the door." Which is 100% right. And so words were exchanged and a fight ensued. And the next thing you know, old boy, was dead. Next thing you know, old boy was dead. So in the doing the right thing for the right reasons department, just if you hold a door for somebody or whatever the case may be, and they don't thank you, just keep walking. Just keep walking. You wind up dead like this man. Totally unnecessary. And I get it, because sometimes you be behind somebody and you'll shout out to my folks on YouTube. You'll be behind somebody and they'll be and you hold the door for them and they don't say nothing. And probably maybe to yourself, you say to yourself, like, wow, really? You couldn't say thank you? But after this, I never really said anything anyway. If I held the door, I just held the door. See, because you have to be able to do something without looking for an acknowledgement. If you do something, do it and let it go. Like this guy should have, but now he's dead. Anyway, it's 4 minutes past the hour, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show. It's the Ron Kelly show. I'm just trying to say something to my producer. So it's just about 5 minutes past the hour. So yeah. Terrible, right? The guy, terrible. Anyway, it's 5 minutes past the hour, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show on a Friday, September 23rd, 2023, and it's cold. I'm telling you, it's cold. There's ghosts running around here. It's cold out there. I came outside this morning. I was like, wow. But, we just coming out of the 90s, and now it's down to the 50s. So it's expected. So it's a couple minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Show on a Friday. Now, we'll go back to Thursdays next week. So next Thursday we'll be back, provided that nothing goes wrong. Next Thursday we'll be back for another edition, another exciting, thought-provoking edition of the Ron Kelly Show. So Michael Vick, got destroyed in the media with the dog fighting stuff. Y'all remember Michael Vick's relatives were using his property to make dogs fight. Y'all remember that a few years back. And they destroyed Michael Vick. The media and the just destroyed him. And the PETA people, the people for the ethical treatment of animals, they really went off. And I tell you, they were the ones that made, he wound up going to prison because of them. A lot largely because of them, because they were lobbying and they were like, we want him in jail. And these are the PETA people for the ethical treatment of animals. And they were on Michael Vick like that. So Michael Vick went to prison for, I think it was around 4 years. Michael Vick went to prison. He wound up going to prison. Now, he wasn't even there when this thing went down, and he wound up going to prison for dog fighting. He wasn't even there, but it was done on his property, so they blamed him, and he went to prison. But he was able to get out and resurrect his career. When he got out, he signed with Philly, the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was there for 5 years. And so he was kind of able to resurrect his career, but the damage had already been done. Michael Vick was in prison for years, for 4 years, I believe it was. He was in prison for 4 years. So I'm like, wow. And so, fast forward to today, we have Brett Favre. Brett Favre, who's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Michael Vick's in the Hall of Fame. I doubt it. But because of what happened, because he was a prisoner and stuff. But fast forward to Brett Favre. Brett Favre, the Super Bowl winning former Green Bay Packer quarterback. And there is news going on that Brett Favre was involved in a scandal to take money from welfare folks. Brett Favre, welfare folks. Now the guy he was down with, the ex-director of the Mississippi Welfare Agency, pled guilty already in the Brett Favre scandal. Already pled guilty. And is agreeing to testify. So this is going to be interesting. The walls might be closing in on Brett Favre. Now, John Davis was the director of the Mississippi Department of Human Services. Now, he has pled guilty to state and federal charges for his role in the welfare scandal. Now, what John Davis is accused of, John Davis, the director, or used to be the former director of Mississippi, is accused of misdirecting millions of dollars in federal welfare funds toward multiple pet projects, including the construction of
welfare agency director John Davis has pled guilty to federal charges and state charges for his connection in misspent welfare dollars.
Governor's Richard Lake was in the courtroom and has more on the Mississippi welfare scandal.
Yeah, so he's
that's right. While both federal and state charges that Davis pled guilty.
Okay, yeah, he pled guilty. Now we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But nobody said nothing to Brett Favre. Brett Favre, the famed NFL quarterback, was a NFL quarterback for 20 years, net worth of $100 million. The squeaky clean. Up to this point anyway, the squeaky clean, quarterback. never any issues or anything. And yeah, so now he got together with somebody to steal money from the welfare department. And it wasn't just the welfare, it was like the, family services, period. And just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. But you're not hearing nothing about Brett Favre. You're not hearing nothing about Brett Favre like you heard about Michael Vick. Because when this thing happened with Michael Vick, it was crazy. And I think this is worse than what happened with Michael Vick. This is worse. Shout out to Ronald McCready, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I guess some of y'all must be busy because I haven't heard from any of you yet, but it's okay. It's all good. I know you're listening. Shout out to the folks on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter who are also listening to the Ron Kelly Show. So you're not, and it's privilege, basically. It's privilege. It's white privilege. Because black man, Lamont Gates says, what's the connection between Favre and Vick, especially since Favre hasn't been convicted of anything? Well, can you actually say there's a connection? Here's the thing, Lamont. Nobody is talking about Brett Favre. Now, Brett Favre has been implicated in this thing. He's been implicated in this thing with this gentleman. And there's text messages showing Favre connecting with this man in order to influence $8 million worth of payments, welfare payments for himself, and a volleyball court for the University of Southern Mississippi. I think that's where Brett Favre went to school at. So this is serious. No, he has not been charged. And see, that's the problem. He has not been charged or accused. Now, it's already been established that Brett Favre is involved in this. It's already been established that he's involved in this. But when Michael Vick, with this thing with the dogs, it went viral. It went absolutely viral. And it's mom's, and now that Brett Favre, this is outrageous. You stole from welfare recipients. You're someone with $100 million net worth today. Net worth for 2022, $100 million. And you chose to steal money from welfare recipients to build a volleyball stadium or volleyball facility, which costed about $8 million. Now, you could have paid that yourself. So why would he even, it's just ridiculous. But see, but the problem is that nobody's saying anything. You don't see anything on SportsCenter, on the regular news, on MSNBC. You don't see anything anywhere about this thing with Brett Favre. You don't see anything anywhere. Yeah. People are texting me. Go on Facebook and send me a message through the feed. Yeah, so you're not hearing nothing. So the difference, Lamont Gates, is that it's privilege. It's privilege because Michael Vick wouldn't have got the same. Michael Vick didn't get the same treatment that Brett Favre is getting, which is no treatment at all. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, everybody, it's about 15 minutes past the hour. Yeah, I started on time today. It's the Ron Kelly Show. When we're here on a Friday, it's September 23rd, 2022. I still have a problem saying that. Lamont Gates says it's all alleged. Yeah, I mean, it was alleged with Michael Vick wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. Shout out to Suzanne Newman for checking me out, looking for me yesterday, and I wasn't nowhere around. Yeah, Lamont Gates says it's all alleged, but hey, look, you know, it was alleged with Michael Vick too. He wasn't even there. He wasn't even present, and they still chose to charge him and lock him up and all of this stuff, and he wasn't even there. Just unbelievable, unbelievably ridiculous. Lamont Gates says, well, Vic knew full well. Vic also executed the. Now, see, Lamont Gates, see you. I respect you, man, but you know, I mean, really. I mean, come on. But we couldn't prove that. I mean, but we couldn't prove that he knew. Nobody can prove that Michael Vick knew about those dogs. Nobody can prove that Michael Vick knew about those dogs. Shout out to Ronald McCready, who's checking the program out. Nobody could prove that Michael Vick knew about those dogs, because when the dog fighting went down, he wasn't even there. And then you're saying he executed dogs. When Lamont Gates, when did Michael Vick execute dogs? Where's the video? Has anybody come forward, you know, during the trial? Did anybody come forward and say Michael Vick is executing dogs? I mean, come on. Where's the proof? That's what I want to see. I want to see the proof. All right, it's 17 minutes past the hour. We'll be back in just a minute with more of Ron Kelly talk radio program. And it's on a Friday, and it's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and of course, on the RonKellyShow.com. It's just about 18 minutes past the hour. You're listening to the Ron Kelly Show on a Friday because we weren't on yesterday because of some technical difficulties that I wasn't able to fix. Okay, American Porterfield since 1980. It's 42 years. American Porterfield has been providing safe, reliable transportation to and from your destination. They're located in Plainfield, New Jersey, and they have a spotless record of transporting folks. They work for schools. They provide school transportation, medical, field trips, churches, you name it. You know, I'm pretty sure that Amica and Porterfield can handle it. Give them a call. They're located in Plainfield, New Jersey. Give them a call, 973-753-6423. That's 973-753-6423. Or you can email them. It's amica.porterfield@verizon.net. That's amica.porterfield@verizon.net. One more time, amica.porterfield@verizon.net. Amica and Porterfield is a proud sponsor, and yes, they do pay us. paid sponsor of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. So things are going crazy in Russia, which is what I kind of expected. And I need to let you guys know before I go any further that the views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, and are not those of my advertisers or my support team. Now we about to get raw up in here. So fasten your seatbelts, put on your helmets, whatever it is you have to do, because we about to get raw up in here. So okay. Yeah, so things are starting to get a little crazy in Russia. I mean, it's unbelievable. Russia, as big as Russia is, and see, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Definitely comes to mind when it comes to Russia, because Ukraine is winning that war, and now Russia has to call up people, and they're calling up people in their 30s and 40s, 50s. You know, now Russia has to call up people because Ukraine is whipping their ass, basically. So now they have to call up people. Shout out to Ronald McCready. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Everybody's 22 minutes past the hour. So Russia is getting beaten so bad that they have to call up troops, reservists. Now, they thought that they were going to just roll over Ukraine like it was in 2014. See, but in 2014, because Ukraine wasn't getting the help that they're getting today from Biden. See, 2014, Obama didn't do what Biden is doing today. And that's why Ukraine got beat so easily. But Biden just sent billions of dollars of high-tech, sophisticated hardware to Ukraine, and they are kicking the Russians' ass so bad, that now they have to call up people. We need help. You see, but it's, and the good news is that Ukraine is winning that war. But the bad news is that none of us know what Putin is going to do. Because Putin is just refusing to accept this thing. See, and he's hinted at using nuclear weapons a few times. He's hinted at using, tactical nuclear weapons, not the big one that blows up whole cities, but tactical nuclear weapons. He's talked about that a lot, And so, while you're putting the picture of your food, because if they drop the bomb, there ain't gonna be no more food. But it's good news and it's bad news because we don't know what's going to happen. Putin could just say, you know what, I'm just going to use, because Putin refuses. You know how bad he's going to look, that his country, he already looks bad right now. Pitiful. He looks very bad. So can you imagine if he caves in? Because the Ukrainians, Zelensky is like, we're not caving in. This is our country, which he's 100% right. This is their country, and they need to be able to live there. Because there was no reason for Putin to go into Ukraine, because Ukraine, so what? Ukraine is next door. Ukraine can't, what were we going to do? Launch from there or something? We weren't going to launch from there. It's good news, bad news. And hopefully, they'll come to a reasonable settlement of this thing. They're supposed to be having elections today, fake, phony, fraudulent Russian elections. This is the dangerous part. Now, Russia is having elections in certain areas of the Ukraine to get the Ukrainian people to vote to succeed from Ukraine. So if those people vote to succeed, and they're going to be forced to, voting at gunpoint, if they succeed from Ukraine, and then Ukraine attacks those areas, Russia could consider it, like you're attacking Russia itself. And see, that's where the problem is going to be. So we live in a very dangerous time right now. We live in a very dangerous time. Nuclear weapons all over the place. Everybody's got them. We used them. And one day, somebody, hopefully I'll be dead and gone by then, but somebody else is going to use them. You know, it's inevitable that somebody else is going to use them. So this thing with Ukraine and Russia can have worldwide consequences. Worldwide consequences. Okay, everybody, it's 7:26. It's 34 minutes before the hour. So, I teased about this yesterday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, about, you know, I saw some pictures of Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and Dwayne Wade's son, who wants to be a daughter. And, you know, so you're a parent and your kid, and I'm not going to bring any experts on here to tell you what to do or whatever the case may be, because what's an expert? You know, we can talk about this ourselves. And definitely post on the feed. I will respond to you. Post on the feed. So you have a kid you have a son. I mean, it's much harder for men. But you have a child who wants to be the opposite sex. You have a daughter who wants to be a boy. You have a son who wants to be a girl. Now, Dwayne Wade has a son who wants to be a girl. Looks like a girl too. I saw the pictures for some kind of photo shoot, Tiffany's or whatever. Looks like a girl, but it looks like a girl. So do you encourage? See, because what Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are doing is that they're encouraging their son to be a girl. I mean, it's not there. I mean, it's Dwayne Wade's son. It's Gabrielle Union is not the biological mother. But do you encourage? And I'm not saying you discourage, but do you encourage, or do you? I mean, because encouraging is different from supporting. Encouraging is different from supporting. And see, what Dwayne Wade is doing is encouraging his son to be a girl. He's taking pictures with him, and and he's getting a lot of doors open. Dwayne Wade's daughter or son/daughter has doors open to him or her that they wouldn't normally get, but because Dwayne Wade is Dwayne Wade, people are receptive. And you see, and you have a lot of, and I'm on all over social media, and I'm on TikTok too. I mean, I'm on TikTok. I had a couple of likes. So I'm on TikTok, and there's a movement going on with this transitioning, men transitioning to women and women transitioning to men. There's a movement going on. See, because what has happened is the more people do it and the more people come out and talk about it, the more encouraged other people get, and then they come out and they talk about it. So there's a movement right now of men taking hormone therapy, growing titties and stuff. And then there's the women who are having their breasts removed and, being so-called men. There's a movement going on. And then you got a lot of black folks who support who support this movement, but won't even support each other. Many of us. So the problem is that, this is being, people are being encouraged to transition. And there's really no transition because you're still a man. If you okay, you got long hair and you got your nails done, you got your feet done, yada yada, but you're still a man. Because most of the people, even if you have because most of the people who transition don't transition all the way. They transition to a point. But the women still have vagina. The women or the trans women still have penises, and the trans men still have vaginas. Lamont says not to be the dead dog, but okay. Ronald McCready says his child is already mentally a girl, so I believe his child is already mentally a girl, so I believe what they are doing is okay because the kid is not carrying grief. Lamont Gates says, not to be the dead dog, but Vic initially said he hardly visited the property and had no knowledge of the criminal enterprise. He later blamed his family per the press release and eventually pled guilty in court because he would have been convicted anyway, Lamont Gates. There was no way he was going to get out of that. But Ronald McCready, getting back to Ronald McCready's comment, he says, and I was talking about Dwayne Wade. His child is already mentally a girl, so I believe what they are doing is okay because the kid is not carrying. But how do we know that, Ronald McCready? How do we know that the kid is not carrying grief? How do we know that the kid is not miserable? He doesn't look too happy. How do we know that? I mean, you talk about a kid. So what's going to happen 10 years from now, 15 years from now when the kid grows into manhood? Right now, it might just be, something to do. You know what I'm saying? How do you know? How can you make such a life-changing decision as a kid that you want to be a woman? So what's going to happen, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? And you're going to be like, wait a minute, I don't want to be no girl. Because we don't trust kids to smoke or drink. We don't trust kids to drive a car. But we allow them to make such grown-up decisions about their sexuality. We allow them to make grown-up decisions. But you can't drive, you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't have sex. But you can make a decision, life-changing decision, and we all go for it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, like, I tell you, I'm not part of the bandwagon. I don't jump on the bandwagon. And, I'm not a hater. I don't want to hang them by their ankles or whatever the case may be. I mean, I do still say live and let live. But I don't necessarily agree with this transitioning because you're not transitioning. You're still, I mean, you might look like a girl, and I've seen some on TikTok, some of those dudes, I mean, they really look like girls. They really do. Ronald McCready says the child came to them and told them who he is. And so, but how does he even know what a soul is, Ronald McCready? How does he even know? Dwayne Wade's son. How old is this kid? I forgot to look it up. Dwayne Wade's son, Zaya. That's the kid's name, Zaya. 15 years old. What the hell do you know about life at 15, Ronald McCready? What do you know? What do you know? Do you even know what a soul is at 15? I mean, if I was 15, I was just going to high school. In high school, rather. 15 years old. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I mean, I didn't have no issues with my sexuality. But I mean, I don't agree with this stuff. I think that a man should be a man, that a woman should be a woman. I do not agree with this transitioning stuff. I don't agree because it's ugly. I mean, we can, and especially amongst black folks, because we can support everybody but each other. I was looking at like it was the Dominican Day parade or something like that was going on, a little early. Dominican Day in America, and there were more black people at that party. There was more black people at that party than Dominicans. But then when you turn around and it's the African American Day parade, there's nobody there. Now I see a lot of black folks, not to be critical, but I see a lot of black folks who support this transgender thing. So everybody that goes transgender, that's one less child. So every transgender woman that used to be a man or whatever, that's one less child. For every woman that wants to transition to a man, that's one less. I mean, there's no kids. The black folks are gonna die off because there's so many of us who are transitioning, want to be a man, want to be one. Look, I'm old school. And like I said, I'm not out here to harm anybody. I'm not going to go out here and kill anybody. But Lamont Gates says sexuality isn't something one chooses. You are born with it in combination with environment. It's complex, but it's certainly not a choice. Okay, Lamont Gates, so what happens when people go to prison, for example? So what happens when people go to prison, right? Now, there are men who may not have been sexually active with men on the street, but they go to prison and they are sexually active with men in prison. Now, was it already in them? They just never had an opportunity to express it? Or did they change because they're in jail now and there ain't no dudes, there ain't no girls around? Because my homeboy Danny, love him to death, was my best friend when I was young. We were both young. He's in prison, 20-something years, murder, got life. I never bothered to ask him about, I would never ask him, did anybody ever try to pop him or anything? But Lamont Gates says some sexuality isn't something one chooses. You are born with it in combination with the environment. It's complex, but certainly not a choice. Now, Lamont Gates said, okay, so what's not a choice, Lamont Gates? Suzanne Newman says population is decreasing anyway. 40 and 30 have no desire to have children. I guess not, because everybody's trying to be somebody else. Everybody's trying to be somebody else. I don't agree with all of this stuff. Like I said, I do believe in live and let live. I'm not out here when I see. I'm not out here knocking. I don't use my radio show to knock gay people. I don't use my radio show to knock transgender people. But I just don't agree with it. I think that whatever you is, you need to stay there. Because of all of this operations and because only God can make a vagina. No, I don't care who. It could be the best surgeon on the planet. God is the best surgeon because nobody can make a vagina like God. Nobody. So you can say all you want about this bottom surgery and all that. Because if you got to have surgery, it's not natural. If you got to have surgery. And shout out to the people who got kids who boys who want to be girls and girls who want to be boys. Shout out to the people out there shout out to the people who are out there who have children who don't want to be what they were born as. You see, because now the mother who was hoping, you was the last hope that I would get some grandkids. And now, I'm gay. Some grandkids are out the window quickly. The grandkids are out the window, So you have to, and not that you're doing it for anybody, but there's a lot to consider when you're talking about, transitioning and, being a man, especially for the man. It's it's ego flattening, you know, for a man. My sons, they, you know, they are men. That's what they ain't trying to transition or nothing. But it is, if you're a man, most of us who are down here in the trenches, you're a man and your son is gay or he is has a desire to be transgender. I mean, a lot of us would feel like it was going to hurt. Suzanne Newman says sometimes it's a born with, but a lot of times it comes from a fracture in your heart and family situation. It's hiding in something to cover. Yeah, I guess I don't think. I mean, oh my goodness. You know what? Let me take a quick break. Let me take a break because it's about 19 minutes before the hour. Let me take a quick break. Back with more in just a second. It's the Ron Kelly Show, everybody, and it's on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and of course on blogtalkradio.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Oh, yes, indeed. It's the Ron Kelly Show. And yes, I am the man. Trust me. Welcome back, everybody. Shout out to all those who had something else to do on a Friday night, but you decided to spend some of your evening. Because I know everybody don't listen to the whole show. I don't listen to anybody else's whole shows either. So, you know, I listen to the Herd with Cowherd, and I listen for the first 10, 15 minutes, and after that, I'm out. Now, I'm not really clear on what Suzanne Newman says. Sometimes it is a born with. But a lot of times it comes from a fracture in your heart and family situation. Yeah, see, because, you know, and I would really love to hear from somebody who has a child who doesn't want to be what they were born as. Because it's got to be, you know, do you encourage them? Can you encourage them like Dwayne Wade? Or can you just do what you've normally done for them as a child their whole lives before they decided to change, to be transgender? Do you encourage him? Like, Dwayne Wade is encouraging his son/daughter. He's encouraging it, and he's going, on the record, and he's talking about it. Gabrielle Union, she's gone on the record. She's talking about it. And they're encouraging her to go after this stuff. But now, is that healthy, or is it better? Is it better to just support the child as you always have? You know, before this phenomenon took place, do you support the child the way you always have? Do you encourage? Because there's a difference. There's a difference between encouraging and endorsing. Now, me, I probably would not encourage. You know, I would not. If I had a son and he wanted to be a girl, and would I encourage that? No. And I know people are going to be kicking my back in and stuff. Oh, Ron Kelly's a, he's an anti-gay. And okay, if you want to say that, that's fine. Suzanne Newman says it's a really interesting conversation that we can only have an opinion. None of us on here really have any medical, but it's not about the medical stuff, Suzanne Newman. It's not about the medical stuff. It's about, it's not about the medical stuff, because, we don't have to know how to convert a penis into a vagina. We don't have to know that. We just know that it happens. We don't have to know. We just know that it happens. We don't have to know the details. I sure don't want to know the details, because I have a penis and I'm not interested in turning my penis into no vagina. So, Thank you, Susan Newman, for your comment. Lamont Gates says, if you don't believe it's not a choice, let me see you choose to be sexually attracted to anyone you find unattractive. This includes the same sex. If you are this includes the same sex if you are currently. Yes, Lamont Gates, I am currently sexual. Heterosexual will always be. I have no desire to be with no man. I have no desire. The only desire I have to be with men is at the cigar bar watching a football game. Other than that, I don't have no desire to be with no man. Now, Lamont Gates, if you don't believe it's not, well, I don't. So why would anybody choose that? Why would you? I mean, some say they were born with it. Most of the time, I hear people say that they were born with it. That's what I hear most of the time, that they were born with the desire to play with dolls. Little boys will play with dolls instead of playing with Tonka trucks. They rather play with dolls. I just don't support it. I don't support it. Now, look, again, I'm not out here kicking people's backs in. If that's what you want to do, I mean, if one of my sons came to me and said that they wanted to be a girl, I mean, would I be just, I probably would fall out on the floor, but I wouldn't diss them. Now, I wouldn't support that decision, but you're still my child and I love you. You're still my child and I love you. Do I support what you're doing? No. But you're still my child, and I love you. Suzanne Newman, Chaz Bono, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner looks like a man, by the way. A perfect example of a child that had a missed chromosome. She was a cute little girl, but clearly very young. She decided she identified as a male. Yeah, I remember seeing, when I was very young, I remember seeing if she wasn't Chaz Bono, but the little girl used to be on TV with them. Chaz Bono. She wasn't Chaz at the time. It was something else. You're right, Suzanne Newman. She was a cute little girl, but clearly very young. She decided to identify as a male. Oh, I mean, really? Right. Right. Desire is key word. Okay. Lamont Gates says they aren't choosing. Suzanne Newman says this was back before this became very popular. And Suzanne Newman once again says, so what's his agenda? I mean, it's the, if you're gay, right? If you're gay, like, you don't have to change if you're gay, you don't have to change because you can't change your gender. See, this is the problem. You can't change your gender. You cannot change your gender. There's no way. There's no way because your DNA still, after all the hormone replacement therapy, after growing boobs, after getting the operation, turning your penis inside out and trying to make it into a vagina, even after all of that, you still got size 12s. Your hands are still too big. And you have the facial, because they even go as far as to change the facial features to make it softer, more like come on. But see, my thing, Lamont Gates, is even after all of that, you still are what you were born as. Even after all of that, after the surgeries, after the hormone therapy, after the weaves, after the eyelashes, after the makeup, after the lipstick, after all of that, what's the purpose of the gender change, identity? And again, like I said, you're not really changing your identity. You're still that same person. You just playing dress up. You're still the same person. You're still, it takes years. It takes years to come into manhood. It takes years. It takes years because you have to grow up, be a boy, get dirty, fight. You know, you can't just start thinking like a man just because you got facial hair. Now you think like a man. No, you've been a girl all your life. You go into your 20s, mid-20s, early 30s. Now all of a sudden you want to be a man. But you're not going to think like a man thinks. There's no way. Just like with the trans men, you're not going to think like a man. And the trans women, you're not going to think like a woman because you've been a woman all your life. I mean, you've been a man all your life. So you're not going to just magically start thinking like a woman. Because women because boys, we had to grow up, we had to fight, we had to get beat up, we had to go through puberty, high school, all this stuff, first girlfriend, all of this stuff. And but you see, my point is, Lamont and Suzanne and Ronald McCready and all those people who are listening on YouTube, thank you. The YouTube numbers are incrementally increasing. Thank you, LinkedIn and some of the other people where the participation is incrementally creeping up. You are still, at the end of the day, see, because you're still you. At the end of the day, it's 8 minutes before the hour, everybody. You're still you. You're still you. Now, maybe it makes you feel better to have long hair and nails and, and all of that kind of, maybe that makes you feel better. But if you are a man, I mean, why would you change your identity? You don't have to change your identity. But maybe people feel better. Lamont Gates says gender identity change is about what they feel rather than what they look like. Yeah, right. It makes them feel better. But why? The unfortunate thing is these people are psychologically tortured, says Suzanne Newman. Lamont Gates, knock it off, Lamont Gates. Suzanne Newman says, I'm such an alpha man and I love an alpha man, so you would definitely have a hard acceptance. Suzanne Newman said they got beat up and didn't have a first girlfriend, or did because they hadn't figured out who they are. Lamont Gates says, who would you, in parentheses, be, the gender or the inner core? Shout out to Joanne Jackson. Hello, Joanne. How are you? It's so good to see you. Yeah. So, I mean, what's the point? If you're gay, if you're a man and you like men, you don't have to convert to a woman to still be with men. If you're a woman, and you're going to be with other women anyway, so why try to transition into being a man when you're never going to be able to be a man? How you be a man and you go in the men's bathroom, you got to sit down on the toilet. Look, to wrap this thing up, it's about 6 minutes before the hour. Look, I have nothing against gay or transgender people. I want to make that abundantly clear. I have nothing against them. I just question, why would you, because you're not converting. You're not, what is this transgender? I mean, you're still the same person. You still have male DNA. You still, because like I said, only God can make a coochie. Nobody makes a coochie like God. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an intricate work there, and no surgeon is going to make a penis into a coochie. No. And I'll know right away if I see it, because I know what a coochie is supposed to look like. Lamont Gates says, this is a conversation about diversity, accepting one's name. Hey, look, like I said, I see, now that begs the question. Can you not agree with something? not agree, but still be, you know, can you not agree with something, but not, you know, promote hatred or anything like that? Can you not agree, but still allow a person to be who they are? See, because that's where I'm at. I mean, I don't agree with this transition stuff because you're not really transitioning. You're still a man. You just got titties. You know, you're a man with titties. That's it. And for the women, you a woman without no titties. If you got your titties removed, because you still don't have a penis, and you still can't make love to a woman the way you're supposed to, because you don't have no penis. So if you're a woman and you're attracted to women, why go through all of this stuff, removing your breasts and all this stuff? And because you're still a woman, you're not a man. But I mean, you know, Joanne Jackson says men try so hard to be women. Well, not this man. Suzanne Newman is laughing at me, I suppose. Ronald McCready says, yes, I can. Yes, you can. What? You trying to transition, Ronald McCready? You know what? You're still going to be my friend. Okay, it's 3 minutes before the hour, everybody. I want to, you know, it's a special Friday edition of the Ron Kelly Show. Yeah, there's more of y'all here. There's more of people here today than there was on last Thursdays. Maybe I should switch the show over to Friday. It seems like more of you guys are available than you are on Thursday. Anyway, yeah. So again, I'm just messing with you, brother. I knew you when we was in grammar school, so yeah, I didn't see nothing at that time. Suzanne Newman says, "Great show. This was fun." Thank you, Suzanne Newman. We're going to try to have more fun, and you know, and I know the people are going to, you know, try to. I'm going to get the Alex Jones treatment pretty soon. People are going to try to label me as being anti-gay and no, and I like lesbians who let me tell you who sexy. I mean, the ones who they call them lipstick lesbians. I like that. And I'm not gay, but I like the women who are lesbians who still are women, who still wear heels, who still put on lipstick, who still look like women. They ain't trying to be no man. They look like women. I like that. So before y'all start kicking my back in, Ronald McCready says, I can accept the person's choice. So can I. And Joanne Jackson, I got nothing against nobody. I just don't like. I just yeah. I mean, I don't have nothing against nobody. I got nothing. My head is itching. I got nothing against nobody. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing against nobody. I just don't agree. It's not that I'm just against it. I just don't agree with because you're not transitioning. You are, you know, you get just because you got rid of your breasts don't make you a man. Just because you have facial hair, having facial hair don't make no man a man. Even a man like me, facial hair don't make me a man. Facial hair don't make me. I can shave. I can be clean shaven. Joanne Jackson says, I'm sorry it was cut off. I don't have anything against anyone. I'm not the one that, and yeah, be who you're true, but I can have an opinion on what I think about all of this stuff that's going on. My opinion is, you know, that you're not, my opinion is fact, that you're not really transitioning. You may be transitioning mentally, and you can't even do that. Not 100%. You may be transitioning mentally, but you're not going to transition any other way. All right, everybody, it's 8:00 on the dot. Time to get out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Suzanne, and everybody else who checked me out today. Lamont Gates, Joanne Jackson, all the folks who checked me out today on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. We will see you next Thursday for another edition of the Ron Kelly Show. So until then, I like to say that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, but together we can certainly have it all. Thank you. I think I'm done.